India, a land of vibrant culture, ancient temples, and sacred traditions. But hidden beneath its beauty lies a darker truth. Beyond the crowded streets and sacred ghats are places where the air turns cold and whispers echo through the silence. Welcome back to part 2 of Ghostly Encounters, 7 haunted places in India that will give you nightmares, where we dive even deeper into the shadows. These are the locations that even locals fear to name after sunset, where spirits roam restlessly and time seems to stand still. From cursed ruins to ghost-ridden fortresses, these aren't just ghost stories. They're chilling legends etched into the walls of history itself. So dim the lights, take a deep breath, and prepare yourself for another terrifying journey through India's most haunted places. Are you ready to face the fear? Let's begin. The possessed doll in Pune. I've always been the type to dismiss the strange, the unexplained. I believed in logic, in reason. But what happened in our home, it changed everything. And I don't think I'll ever be able to forget it. It all started with a doll. It was a regular Saturday afternoon. My wife and I were browsing an old estate sale in Pune. The house was crammed with antiques, things that had been locked away for decades. Most of it was just clutter, but there was one item that caught my eye: an antique porcelain doll. It was sitting in the corner of a wooden trunk, its eyes glassy and lifeless, its tiny mouth painted into an eerie little smile. But there was something strangely charming about it. Maybe it was the way it looked so delicate, so perfectly preserved. I remember thinking, this will make a lovely addition to our daughter's room. We brought it home that same day. The first night, nothing happened. My daughter Sarah went to bed as usual, and we went about our evening. The doll stayed on its shelf, perfectly still. But by the next night, things began to feel off. I woke up around 3 a.m. to a sound, a faint giggle, high-pitched and soft, almost childlike. At first, I thought it was just Sarah having a dream. But then, the giggles got louder. I got up to check on her. When I entered her room, she was fast asleep, no sign of distress. But the doll, it wasn't on the shelf anymore. It was sitting on the floor, facing the bed. I felt a chill run through me. I picked it up, placed it back on the shelf, and thought, maybe I was just imagining things. After all, we were all tired, but deep down, I knew something wasn't right. Things only got worse from there. I decided to check the home security footage. It was 3:15 a.m., the witching hour, they say, and what I saw, I'll never forget. The doll, once again on the shelf, was sitting perfectly still. Then, its head began to turn, slowly, unnaturally, until it was facing directly at the camera. I leaned closer to the screen. The doll's eyes, they seemed to glimmer in the darkness. And then its painted lips, the faintest, most unsettling smile curled across its face. I froze. My heart was pounding. What the hell was happening? The next night, it happened again. But this time, it was different. The room grew freezing cold. I could see my breath as I stood in the doorway, even though all the windows were shut tight. My daughter was asleep, but she was shivering. I checked the thermostat, but it was set to a normal temperature. And then, I saw it. The doll's arm twitched, just a tiny movement at first. Then its fingers curled. Slowly, it looked like it was reaching out. We began finding the doll in different places. It wasn't just on the shelf anymore. One day it was sitting on the bed. Another time, it was near the doorway, staring at the hallway. And once we found it at the dinner table. It was as if it was following us, waiting for something. We tried to lock it away. I put the doll in the basement, hoping that would end it. But the next morning I found it back on the shelf. It was like the doll had a mind of its own, and it wasn't done with us. I knew I had to do something. So I took it outside, built a fire, and threw the doll in. I watched as it burned, but that night, it didn't end. We heard footsteps, slow, heavy footsteps, echoing through the house. They came from upstairs, from Sarah's room. I ran upstairs, but there was no one there. The doll was gone. We never found it again. Some things should never be brought into your home. Some things are better left untouched. I don't know where the doll is now, but every night I feel its presence, watching, waiting. The ghost train of Bagankador. I've never believed in a ghost. Superstition, I used to call it. The kind of thing whispered by people who had too much time and not enough sense. That was until I spent one night at Bagankador station. I'm a railway surveyor. My job takes me to forgotten places, old tracks, disused stations, the dusty leftovers of a once busy network. In September of last year, my assignment took me to Purulia district in West Bengal. My task? Inspect the long-abandoned Bagankador railway station and assess whether it could be restored. The station had been closed for decades. Officially, it was due to logistical complications. Unofficially, locals claimed it was haunted. They spoke of a woman in white, a ghost who wandered the tracks, always at night. Some said she was a dancer who died in an accident. Others swore she was murdered and left on the tracks to be torn apart by an oncoming train. Whatever the story, they all ended the same way. The woman appears, and then someone dies. I brushed it off. I had a flashlight, a thermos of coffee, and a tight deadline. Ghosts weren't on my list of concerns. 8:57 p.m. I arrived just before nightfall. The station was silent, the kind of silence that makes your ears ring. No birds, no crickets, just the whisper of wind moving through broken glass and rusted beams. The platform was overgrown, littered with dry leaves and scattered bits of forgotten lives. A child's shoe, a shattered clock, torn pages from a train schedule yellowed with time. I set up my gear in the old station master's office. The door creaked like it hadn't moved in years. Inside, dust coated everything. There was still a desk, a broken lamp, and a faded photograph nailed to the wall. A man in uniform standing beside a train, smiling proudly. A caption underneath read, Suresh Dutta, Station Master, 1967. That name sounded familiar. Then I remembered, he was the one who reportedly saw the ghost. The next morning, he was found dead. No injuries, just dead. Face frozen in terror. 1:42 a.m. I was reviewing old track maps when I heard it. A distant whistle, faint, far away. I froze. It made no sense. These tracks hadn't seen a train in decades, but the sound grew louder, more insistent, like something was approaching. I stepped outside. The platform was pitch black. My flashlight flickered as I scanned the tracks. Then I saw it, a dim light far down the rails, a single headlight, no engine, no sound of wheels clacking on metal, just light, and it was moving toward me. The air changed, heavier, colder. My breath fogged in front of me. I heard the hum of metal, the vibration of approaching weight, but the ground beneath my feet remained still. The light reached the platform and passed through. No train, just glowing mist. It wrapped around the station like fog, crawling along the platform, drifting through walls. That's when I saw her, a woman standing at the far end of the platform. Long black hair, white sari stained at the hem. Her head tilted, like she was listening for something. Her face was pale, drained of color, and her eyes. They weren't looking at me. They were looking through me. She stepped onto the tracks, walking slowly, each footfall silent, unnatural. The mist followed her, swallowed her. Then she was gone. 3:47 a.m. That's when my watch stopped. I checked the time again and again. Always 3:47 a.m. Same time the station master died, I later discovered. 6 a.m. When sunlight broke through the shattered windows, I packed my things and left without looking back. I handed in my report, said the station was structurally unsound, not worth restoring. I never mentioned the woman, but sometimes late at night, I hear that whistle again, far away, too far to be real. And I wonder, what happens to the souls who never leave their last stop?
If you made it this far, you're braver than most. But the darkness is always watching, so don't leave without liking this video and subscribing. And whatever you do, turn on notifications. You wouldn't want to miss what's lurking in the next upload. Sleep tight, if you can.